Hey everyone, this is the Send It Show. This is our first episode. Today we are going to be talking about concealed carry versus open carry, and we're just going to kind of generally touch on open carry a bit more than concealed carry and kind of weigh in on what our thoughts are on both. Today I have my friend Clark Aposhian here with me.
Hey.
You want to say hi?
I'm Clark Aposhian. I'll kick all your asses. I chair the Utah Shooting Sports Council and listen to my radio show, Gun Radio Utah. No apologies. Every Saturday, 3 to 4 on KNRS, AM, FM. It's an iHeart station, so you can look it up.
Yeah, and you can look up KNRS on iHeart, and then it'll just live stream, and then when you're on there at the time, you'll be listening to Clark.
So that's fun.
And then we've got Corey here.
I'm Corey, concealed carry holder and partner in Gallant bullets. I've been shooting since I was like 12, so...
Impressive resume.
Yeah. Not as impressive, but...
It's impressive.
I'm working my way up.
I mean, you gotta get the spectrum of people, right, when you weigh in on stuff like this. Last on the show, we've got Blake. He's on Google Hangouts, and he'll be introducing himself next. Or he'll be frozen.
And then introducing himself right when he comes back now.
Okay, now you're back. Okay, Blake, here you are. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Blake Williams. I'm the owner of Reloading All Day. We have Instagram, Facebook, stuff like that. Concealed carry holder. Been doing it a little over 2 years now, and about it. Work with Gallant.
Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and do a round table. What do you guys conceal carry and why? And we'll just go in the same order that I introduced you guys in.
So that's me then.
That's you.
Well, so I don't have to show you my gun, do I?
No, you don't have to show it to us. Just
Whip
tell
it
us.
out.
Because it's
I think if you tell us,
big boy.
I think if you tell us what you carry, where you carry it, and why,
Okay.
then we'll be good. We'll do a round table that way.
Yeah, I'm probably not giving away too many secrets because so I carry a Glock 29, 10 millimeter. It's the subcompact Glock. Well, it's actually not the subcompact. It's more the compact Glock. I carry a 10 millimeter. It only holds 11 rounds, but I hit what I aim at, so I'm fine with that. And I carry it in about the 4 o'clock position, I guess.
Okay.
Occasionally I'll carry an appendix. Depends on what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing a suit and tie versus that. But it's not my only concealed carry. Generally, I go between the Glock and a 1911.
Okay,
So.
nice. Do you carry anything extra? Some people carry knives.
I do. Always
that
have
stuff.
always have a little knife.
Nice.
A cold steel.
Okay.
Little cold steel folder.
Cool.
And I have extra magazines in my vehicle.
Nice.
In fact, if you look in the glove box now, you'll see extra mags for the Glock and for the 1911.
Cool.
So.
All right, Corey.
So I actually carry a Springfield XDS. I carry the 45, and I originally picked it up because my first handgun was a Springfield XD 40 cal, and I picked that one over the Glock and everything that I had shot because it felt good in my hand. When I took it down to front sight and shot it, it was reliable, and the XDS was the first single stack subcompact that Springfield made. So that was just kind of my original. It only carries, it's a 5+1, I believe. 4+1, 5+1. So it really doesn't carry a lot of rounds. If I had to go back and do it again, I might do like a 9mm variant. But
Okay.
It's been a good gun.
Extra
I enjoy it.
mags?
I do have extra mags. I don't normally carry them. I have like a urban carry pouch, so it doesn't really come with anything. I need to find another choice to...
You just duct tape some on your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could,
Or on the chest.
That's what you do.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Actually, I just got the pockets sewn in,
Yeah.
so I'm good to go. All right, Blake. What do you do, man?
I grew up shooting 1911. Actually, I'm hearing your getting up and turn you down here. Anyways, I've been growing up shooting 1911, so I'm great officer carrying a 1911 and 9mm. Holds 9 magazine. I naturally carry it my back right side. I picked it up about 2 years ago when I heard Missouri changed the constitutional carry. And I got my CCW actually, but I usually carry 1 extra mag in my back left pocket. But we've been doing it for, like I said, a little bit over 2 years now, and I keep usually 1 extra mag in block console in my car. That's about it. So.
Cool. All right, so we've
Gotta
got...
love the 1911. It's our Utah State firearm.
I think many people love the 1911. Yeah. So I think we've kind of covered what you guys are carrying, how you carry it. I don't know if we want to hit on why real quick. I mean, I think for the purposes of discussion and the ease of going through this, I think many people know the reason why you conceal carry, right?
But why do you conceal carry what you conceal carry?
Well, yeah. And I mean, you kind of talk about, okay, this is why I chose. You said this is why I chose what I chose, right? And I think you spoke a little bit about it. Blake said, hey, this is what I've been doing. Like, he's a 1911 guy, right?
Right.
So, I mean, you guys all kind of carried. I think that shows a little bit about why you choose what you carry. You know, either you put a lot of thought into the technicality of the gun, or it's a matter of habit, or what you're used to, what you're comfortable with. I don't know if you guys want to add anything else in there as far as like the weight of the preference of what you carry, right? Like what weighs in on preference other than what we already said.
Oh, I don't know how he carries a 1911. That's huge, but it's personal preference.
You want to weigh in on that, Blake?
Yeah, Blake.
I'm sorry, what was your question? I'm getting bad audio.
I was just impressed by your concealed carry choice of the 1911. I mean, how comfortable is that?
Yeah. So when I started out concealed carrying about 2 years ago, I had the option of either getting a 6-hour full-size double stack or a 1911, which I grew up shooting 1911, so I was more comfortable with that. Like I said, I went through Springfield Range Officer 9mm compact single stack, which considering the demographics where I live, which is downtown and having constitutional carry, I've seen some people with full-size Glocks, ranging from different pistols, but being full-size, and they bend over, and they flash people, and they got double-stack mags, and you see them bulging through their pockets, and half the time it's not, the prettiest sight, considering that, sometimes people that don't realize there's such a thing called constitutional carry, they get a little freaked out. So another reason why I chose the 1911, the single stack, I can put it way down in my pants where it's easy to grab if the situation arises, and always keep something that's small in my back pocket. And usually that's not going to fall, especially a single stack if you ever walk back there or whatever you're carrying. So, so just to go back what I said, I've been shooting it my whole entire life. I'm comfortable with it. It's good in my hands, and I'm good at shooting at it. So that's why I chose that.
Cool. No, that makes a lot of sense, man. Thanks for that. So what we're going to talk about next is we're going to go into open carry. Going to get a little bit on the rights and the background of what open carry is for and why it's around. And then after that, we'll dive right into, I guess, the tactical advantages or disadvantages of open carry versus concealed carry. So, Clark, you being the most qualified individual here to talk about the rights of open carry, why don't you go ahead and lead the topic?
Well, I mean, concealed carry is something of an anomaly, really, with regards to the Second Amendment. You can carry the gun any way that is appropriate, really, if it be openly carried or concealed carry. The problem comes in when states restrict your ability to conceal carry. You've got to be able to still have the right to carry a gun somewhere on you. And that means in many states, if you don't have a permit, you've got to openly carry it.
Right.
So that's a right we have to possess the firearm. It's an added understanding that we can do it concealed, and that's at least my view. Anyway, I may not, in fact, I'll just come right out and say it, I'm not a huge fan of the whole concept of open carrying for the purpose of open carrying.
Right.
I open carry at the range. I open carry around my office. I open carry when it's 115 degrees outside and I want to go across the street from my office to the convenience store and get something. But I do it out of just convenience for me. I don't care if anybody sees it. I just assume they not pay much attention to it. But you ever stood in line at a grocery store open carrying? I've done it before. And whereas I don't have a problem with it, but I have to think about the person behind me.
Right.
And what kind of, if you're carrying, I mean, there's a lot of different tactical things that we'll talk about later, but it's your right to carry a firearm in any way you want to. You can carry an AR-15 if you want, and it's your right. Whereas I may not think it's a great idea just to do it, but I will fight for that right, and we'll make sure to preserve it. And the Utah Shooting Sports Council has always fought for that right, that you can always open carry. I know that the University of Utah had grief, even though they pissed and moaned about having to allow guns on campus and concealed carry on campus. They said, oh no, you cannot open carry though. You can carry it. Well, there's nothing in the statute that says you can't open carry.
Right.
So we argued and we won. We always win. So
I mean, it's a matter of, and I think we talked about this a little bit earlier, it's a matter of if a statute is not there that says you cannot do it, then the assumption is that you can, right?
exactly.
There's never a bunch of laws that say this is exactly what you can do in life.
Yeah.
There's only laws that say this is what you can do.
Yeah.
So naturally, if there's not something that says you cannot do it, then of course you can.
Yeah, the more fascist the state is, the more it tells you what everything you can do,
Right.
and everything you have to do. But I'll tell you, I don't necessarily like the idea of just doing it to do it. I come from the San Francisco Bay Area, from the Gay Bay, and they have the Gay Pride every, I don't know what it is. Good thing I don't know exactly what it is. But anyways, they have it once a year where all the gay folks will get in and get in their costumes and they'll go up and down the street.
I think it's called Pride.
Pride.
Yeah,
Well,
it's probably
Gay
called
Pride.
Pride. Yeah.
Pride. Okay.
Well, I mean, in Salt Lake, it's the Pride Festival.
But
Yeah.
in San Francisco, they call it the Gay Pride Parade.
Okay.
Okay, so the folks that are just open carrying, just to open carry and show everybody their gun, I call it the Gun Pride Parade.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I think it's more about getting attention than
And
anything
it's
for
their
a lot
right
of
to do it.
people.
It is their absolute right
Yeah.
to do it, and I will make sure, as much as I can,
Right.
that they always have that right to do
Right.
it.
And I think there was a story, what was it, 2 years ago? Someone had open carried an AR into the mall here in Salt Lake, and it caused a pretty big stink.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't get in trouble or anything, but it was on the news. People had called it into the police. The police showed up, and they're just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm just open carrying because I can open carry, and they didn't do anything about it. But it has that stigma around it, and it has issues where people aren't used to it.
That's the point right there that
Yeah.
you just hit on. Time and place and manner. When you go to a gun range, you expect to see it.
Right.
When you go to, I don't know, Arizona, maybe, you expect to see it a little bit more.
Right.
And exposure to that type of thing, exposure to anything unusual, the more exposure increases tolerance for that type of thing.
Right.
So the more people openly carry, the more it's going to be tolerated. But right now, it's in its infancy, so to speak, in Utah and in, even across the West, let alone farther east.
Right.
It's going to take a lot more exposure to increase the tolerance in that.
Well, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head too. Even with the level of tolerance, it's a matter of just being sensitive to when it's appropriate or not, right? I wouldn't expect to see someone open carrying an AR-15 in a clothing store.
No.
Ever. Because I just don't see the use for it.
And
right?
you're a gun guy, too.
Yeah, and I served and I carried an M for a long time. And I just, it's not something I'd want on me when I'm trying pants on, for instance, right?
Yeah. So can you imagine a soccer mom shopping for her kids' clothes, seeing somebody carrying?
Exactly. Yeah. And that just, it wouldn't make sense for me. But I don't think Corey and Blake, we've heard from you guys at all. So Corey, if you want to weigh in, and Blake, we'll get to you after that.
Well, as far as the reason I decided to conceal is I just like to be low key, right? I don't want to be the point of target for somebody if I get into a situation, either somebody's going to wait till I leave if I'm opening carry.
Well, let me interject here a
Okay.
bit. Let's talk about rights first, right? What's your opinion on the rights for open carrying?
I totally believe in the rights to open carry, right? As far as constitutionally, everybody should be able to have the right to protect themselves. And I don't see any problem with that. The problem I see is with education, right? I think there's people who are uneducated who have a firearm who don't know how to use it.
Right.
So that would probably be my biggest concern, I guess, as a somebody who shoots and has gone and got training and learned some of these things.
So do you think there should be some kind of training involved before you're allowed to open carry? Is that what you're saying? Or what's your take on that?
I mean, just even some basic, simple training as far as how do you use a gun.
Like a hunter safety course, for instance.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that before you can open carry is what you're saying would
Right.
make you at least more comfortable with it.
Right.
Okay. All right, and Blake, what about you, man?
Yeah, I totally agree with open carry. I agree with Corey there. It's just a matter of education when it comes to it. I know here in Missouri, when if you're thinking about concealed carry, they actually give you a tax refund if you want to go take another course on how to use that actual firearm per se. But I mean, if I'm walking down the street and I've been using guns my whole entire life, and I see a guy carrying an AR-15, and I agree with you guys, it's going to be a little weird because it's not common inside the city to see a civilian carrying around an AR-15.
Yeah.
When you're at the range, you see that all the time because people are there, and you're naturally going to assume that somebody's going to be carrying a gun.
Right.
But that's why concealed carry. I mean, from a tactical advantage, if the point arises, they're not going to realize that you have a firearm on your side. But I mean, going back to my point, I think it'd just be a little weird to see somebody carrying a long rifle on their back. Open carry, not so much. I mean, I've seen it before. It's not a very common thing in Missouri, especially with constitutional carry just getting passed not too long ago. I've seen it only a couple of times. Definitely raised the eyebrow at a few people walking into convenience stores, stuff like that. But I mean, that's their own choice. It's their right. If they want to do that, they can. They might be giving themselves away to a tactical advantage, but I mean, that's their choice, like I said.
Right.
But
cool.
Overall, I mean, if it's the law, it's the law. I mean, if you have the right to do that, you can. But
cool.
From my point of view, I'm going to be concealed carrying.
All right, Blake, thanks for that. Now we're going to get into the fun part of the discussion, and we're going to talk about the tactical advantage or disadvantage of open carrying versus concealed carrying. And Corey, I think you were a little chomping at the bit there to get started, so go ahead and lead us into that one.
Preemptive on that one. As I was saying before you so rudely interrupted me. I actually choose to concealed carry over open carry because I like to be low-key. I like the tactical advantage. I don't want people to know that I'm carrying. Because it's either going to, if they have some ambition of, robbing a store or whatever it is that they want to do, they're either going to wait till I'm going to leave or they're going to make me their first target. I don't want to be their first target.
Mm-hmm.
So really that's kind of where I was leaning and going with that.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Clark?
Oh, I have tons to say on
Yeah,
that.
just do it. Go.
I have tons.
Launch into it.
So the tactical, there's pros and cons. I got to tell you, if I'm at the range and I'm going for speed, oh my gosh, I'm not going to put a jacket over it or something like that. I mean, I can save 3/4 of a second minimum, if not more, by not having to move a jacket to the side, and I can engage and boom, boom, boom.
Right.
However, tactically, if I'm a bad guy and I see that you have your gun and you're open carry, I'm going to come up behind you and I'm going to take your gun. Now, with that though, your holsters for concealed carry and open carry are likely to be different. Law enforcement doesn't carry a basic slip in, slip out, tension only holster. They're going to have a retention on it. At least a level 1, if not level 2 or level 3, that they've got to push a button, twist it, cant it, whatever. So that's tactically, you're only worried basically about someone else seeing you and or shooting you or taking your gun when you're not looking.
Right, and I think that was the point you brought up that, Corey, you hadn't gone into was if this person doesn't have a gun, they could come up, grab it, and then use it against you, right? Yeah. So,
but you also have a very good point about not being able to get access to it quickly, because I have a urban carry, and I chose the urban appendix carry because it's very concealable. But if I'm sitting down, I can't get to it. I have no access to it. Even if I'm standing up, there is some difficulty getting to it, and it definitely draws down the amount of time that I'd be able to access it if I needed to. So
right. All right, Blake, what about you, man?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I carry in the back right side. What he was talking about sitting down, I know when I sit down, I can easily reach. But considering that you're a convenience store, that's why I conceal carry. Because if you're in a store like that, either concealing carry and somebody does walk in with the attempt to rob the place, they're not going to know that you're carrying that weapon on you. So from a tactical advantage, at least what I would do, if I had people around me that were at least related to me, I'd try to move them out of the way and defuse the situation as best that I could before I have to pull my weapon on them. If they move to me, obviously they don't know that I have that weapon on them, so I'm going to wait till at least they turn around and don't see me pull my weapon. But, I mean, you got to get to the point where they don't see you, or, I mean, with open carry, they are going to see that. So, like what he said, I mean, they're going to come around you and they're going to see that weapon on you. Yeah, they might turn around and walk straight out of the store, or they might take your gun and they might hold you at gunpoint. So, I mean, it's a little iffy. Yeah, there's a tactical advantage to open carrying because they're going to get to it faster. With open carry, I usually just have a jacket on and a shirt, and it's going to take, either 1 or 2 steps to get it from my back right side to present it out. But, I mean, that's really more of a personal choice. But from a tactical advantage side, I totally agree. I mean, I conceal carry just to get away from that and try to defuse the situation before I actually do have to pull the gun. But with open carry, I mean, I keep on saying this, and just, they're going to see that. And, I mean, that's the point. I mean, end of story. They're going to see it. they're going to take it from you, and you're going to be held at gunpoint, which a situation that if you were concealed carrying, they wouldn't have done that. You could have walked away, gone on the side, and presented yourself to the side where they're not seeing you. But I mean, yeah.
But you mean, yeah?
Yeah, but I mean, yeah.
All right. And I think we're all kind of in agreement then, right? Concealed carry definitely has the tactical advantage as far as I think a practical use in self-defense. If we're talking a robbery or an assault or a mugging, something like that, open carry has more of a tactical advantage if you're like out on the range, or if you're doing something where you're in an environment where you are actively engaged in combat. Obviously, open carry takes the cake because it cuts down on time to get your weapon out. And I don't know if you guys want to add anything else. Otherwise, I think we've kind of closed the book on this for which one we think is better for what scenario.
Okay.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm good. I think it has its advantages
Yeah.
and disadvantages. And then you get those in-betweeners, though, that we aren't even going to get into the in-betweeners, where you're trying to conceal it, but they do such a terrible job of concealing it. Little wind blows, they reach up to grab the crackers up on the top shelf, and they inadvertently or accidentally open carry for a moment.
I have had that with my previous concealed carry. I used to carry it small on my back, and that's the reason I kind of stopped, is because anytime I would bend over, anytime I'd stretch up, go to the bathroom, like, no matter what, I was worried about that thing falling out, being just shown to the world. My shirt would get tucked in behind it, and it would just be, I'd be open carry at that point.
Yeah, that's rough.
That's rough.
Tell me about it.
All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. That's going to wrap it up for us. We'll see you next week.